Alright, everybody, hello and welcome to episode 16 of Watching Walford, an EastEnders podcast where we talk about and review all of the EastEnders episodes every single week. Likewise, welcome back to the Watching Walford channel, which is more than just one podcast, as, you know, maybe eventually make some documentaries on characters, some news videos, and some opinion pieces. And currently, I am working on some video essay type things that basically, when I initially conceived of this channel idea before Piggy came to me and said, "Hey, let's do the podcast," I was thinking of doing these like video essays on classic EastEnders. Like I was gonna do a video on, a video on the time Ethel like kidnapped the child, because it's a funny episode. I was gonna do some stories about like the first like big tragedy in EastEnders, but ultimately, I passed on this and I started doing Easily Entertained anyways, which was a different project. But yeah, and I also like to give a special shout out to two EastEnders channels I found in the last week that have also inspired me to do this. Talking Walford. They do some they theorize stuff. They speculate on storylines. They've done two videos so far. They did one talking about the Knights, who are the new family. They think that the male knight is gonna be involved in like Ravi's crime. And they also think that he's gonna die at Christmas, which is a pretty banging theory.
Who, Ravi or the knight?
No, the knight. I don't remember his name.
He's not too important to have a name.
And the other video he did, he suggests that he essentially theorized that Mick isn't dead. He got like found on a boat, and now he's with Aunt Babe, who's like, she was some evil bastard of a character. She was like a manipulative, jealous, like vindictive, like member of the family, and they think that he's gonna live with her for the next couple of years, and also have some slight amnesia. That will all come back eventually. Babe will tell him that, Linda's dead. You know, you didn't save her. And yeah, some fun stuff. And Soap Study, who has done a couple of videos. One talking about the like classic 2007 or 2008, where Max and Stacy's affair is revealed, or it's revealed with a videotape, and it's in front of everyone. Has also done a video on Julie Goodyear, the one who played Bette Lynch on Coronation Street. Her return after all the time, where she came back in about 2003, 2004 for about 2 weeks when she was supposed to be back for good. It's a really good, well-researched video. And also did one which you might like the idea of when Den Watts came back.
Who killed a person in real life. And
how it got derailed because, well, got a bit horny. Yeah.
I do. I love Dirty Dan. I don't like the person who played him. He's dead now, so fuck him. Too. But I love Dirty Dan, the character. Yeah. I just don't like the person, because wasn't he supposedly a murderer in real life? He killed someone.
He did kill someone, but he
supposedly.
No, he definitely did.
All right.
He killed someone. So it's not like he did it. He did his time.
All right. I thought it was like snuck over.
No, it wasn't covered up. He genuinely did his time, and then came out and essentially went, "Hey lads, you know, if this is, I've got some baggage that comes with me. If you wanna get someone else to play the role, like that's fine." And nobody did. But yeah, so go over to Talking Walford and Soap Study. Both channels are pretty fucking cool.
They have more subscribers than us.
They do. So. Well, I think us and Talking Walford are slightly there, but Soap Study has rocketed up.
Damn it.
Thank both of you channels for giving me that extra boost of motivation to work on some similar stuff myself. Anyways, how you doing, Piggy? How is the week?
I'm fine. It's been a pretty good week. I got a table for my animation.
Nice.
I've got a cheesecake here that I'm going to be eating throughout the podcast. So if you hear me doing a CM Punk at immediate scrum, just gushing over Dora Mays, then yeah, uh, it's been a fun week. People who want to know my schedule for watching Walford, I'm only here for the bonus video and for the podcast because I don't get paid to do the extra videos. So I decided to pack my bags and be like, Ash, you can do that by yourself because I'm not spending 3 hours to wonder why Dirty Dan had a shag with a woman behind the scenes
Exactly.
and then
Exactly.
speculate.
Yeah,
So
I will be taking the reins on that like video essay type documentary type
yeah,
content, which I'll make the effort to like edit properly and use some footage, get some music in there, actually tell a story. Because I don't want to say these channels made me realize, Jesus Christ, some of my opinions
um,
are fucking shit, but made me go, maybe I should think a little more about this stuff before I talk about it. It's like, the new family. Yeah, it's exciting. There's a new matriarch. That's gonna be fun. Other people. Well, did you know that the daddy knight might actually be a crime boss? I'm like, whoa, that's so much cooler than what I thought of. Yeah. Anyways, what'd you get up to?
sorry, I'm chewing on a cookie. Hold on. I threw the toffee in your mouth. That's what your mother said to me, anyways. Um,
Fuck's sake.
what did I get up there? I went to a sweet shop because there's a sweet that I love that can only really very expensively be bought in America and some other countries, I assume.
What, sweet?
I, I'm a big fan of Twizzlers. People
Oh.
probably know what Twizzlers are if you're an American, but Twizzlers are like this licorice sweet that is
Oh, yeah,
chewy.
yeah.
It's like a long red vine, and you chew it. I got two big packets of them, bit expensive, but I'm not gonna say the price. And I got some regular Twizzlers,
Nice.
and came to €25. A funny Toy Master story that I will say in a second. I want to get my crazy law out of the way first. I found another crazy law America's bringing in for this
Oh, God.
podcast that I was bringing up. So I'm not going to explain gender reforming care. People can Google that themselves.
Indeed.
So basically, Florida wants to bring in a law where, so say you're my parent, and I go to you, Daddy Ash, I don't feel comfortable in my body. I am a woman trapped in a man's body. And then you go, all right, I'll help you out, son Piggy. I'll help you out as much as I can. So if you're caught as doing gender reaffirming care on your child, the government can take away your child because you're not a legal parent anymore.
Oy, oy, oy.
Which people have pointed out that is kidnapping.
That- that's not on. Isn't that none of their business? Like,
It is. And then I
apparently.
probably brought it up before, but like if Savile was alive, Savile would love America. Like where you can go into kids' changing rooms and check their genitals to see if it matches the sport they want to play with.
Oh,
Which I'm like, Jesus Christ. Could you imagine like if someone who is fancies the younger people, and I mean the younger people, not an 18-year-old, I mean younger than that. Just
nonce.
imagine them being like, oh, I'll fucking check. I'll check, all right. I'll check. I have a great heart for that. And like, mate, I suspect something. And he's like, nope, nothing wrong with me. Just love that job. But yeah, so my crazy America laws. The one bringing a law where you can take your child away because the parents not in the right frame of mind if they give you gender reaffirming care. So
Yeah, just Ash
America,
just
land of the freedom.
hates the trans.
And so does Rishi Sunak.
Very true.
Well, but my feeling to Rishi Sunak is if you got railed by a trans person, then you'd love them.
Yep. Try it, Rishi, you coward.
Film it live, put it on Chatterbase live,
uh.
and title it "Prime Minister Banged by a Big T Woman with a BBC." Do it, you coward.
Yeah.
Get Theresa May in there, make it a threesome. Come on.
Don't have anything to add
Or
to
even
that.
get Boris. Even get Boris. I
Oh,
take Boris.
just adding former prime ministers to it now.
You get Margaret Thatcher back from the grave. She can join in. She'd love it. But yeah. Funny Time Master story. People who know me, I collect wrestlers. I love collecting wrestlers.
Wrestling figures, by the way,
Yeah,
not people.
not
It's
actual
not. It's
wrestlers. I'm
not
not going
Florida.
around. Yeah, I'm not going around kidnapping the fucking wrestlers. Come here, Brett. Get in my bag. But so I went to Time Master, and I kind of will have to explain this to people because it's kind of hard, but I'll try and explain it. So basically, the person who runs the Jazz Bears, like who runs the AEW department for figures, Jeremy Pedower. He used to work with Jax, by the way, who used to do the WWE figures.
Yeah.
Basically, Jeremy loves Pokemon, and so to normally like you collect a rare Pokemon card and it becomes worth thousands upon millions in the future.
Yes.
Basically, Jeremy is doing this thing with the AEW line where so your big name, so you're seeing Punk or Cody Rhodes when he was there, your Ricky Starks, your Thunder Rosa, they'd get two figures. One would be a 1 out of 3,000 or a 1 out of 5,000. So it's a chase figure, basically same figure, just different coloring in the
Yeah.
tights, not actual face. And basically, I went into Time Master because Time Master is the only place in Ireland that sells the AEW figures. I went in there and I went, oh, lovely selection. And they had this massive case. And usually, if you go into America and you find one of these figures, they usually will be behind like Cody Rhodes or Ricky Starks. They usually will be behind them and they will be for retail price. But I went into Time Master and I looked in this display of case. I seen this Cody Rhodes and I was like, 1 out of 3,000. That looks red. And it just had a massive sign underneath it. New €50. And I went, you scummy bastards. And I was like, I have to fork up the €50. They literally behind the display case, new €50 because you couldn't even like even if you wanted to buy it, you had to get someone to pick it out for you.
Oh.
So I had to be like I had to be like a 10-year-old going, "Excuse me, my dad's not here. Could you please take this out for me, please?" So yeah, that was my week. I
Yeah.
also picked up I picked up a rare Brody Lee, but they've yet to ship it. And I'm a bit skeptical that they scammed me, but here's hoping they've not scammed me. So yeah, I get a double week this week because the government's helping us with money for some
Right.
reason. So I get a double week coming this coming week. So yeah, woo. Then I'll roll ahead for AW All In. All
Right.
in it, as people are calling it.
All in it. Yeah.
So I'll have to record that podcast early that Saturday morning in a cafe while eating a fucking breakfast. Just sat there scoffing down the sausages. Just my thoughts on Ben Mitchell. Fucking hate him. Horrible character. Your thoughts on the Tories? You're asking me this while I'm in England. I love the Tories. Love them. You could do the Kurt Angle. There's a Kurt Angle quote that has not aged well. For people who don't know, Kurt Angle was a wrestler and he was in his hometown. And I always bring this up on the Pigs and Parks podcast. He was in his hometown and he was like, how will I get booed? So he says this outright line that I expect you to say in this cafe. He says, well, I'm not a fan of the black people. If I could go back in time, I'd tap out Jesus.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm like, just imagining sat in the cafe and I got asked, so Piggy, your thoughts on the black people? And I'm like, I have to go. I have to go. But yeah, so my week has been fun. I I had to watch a Fat Roddy Piper match and I felt so bad because he had his demons like in '05.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because no, I'm not fat shaming anyone. I jokingly do it on the EastEnders podcast. I jokingly do. I don't see the point. But like he looked so Scottish because he had his kilt and he had his belly, his gut hanging over it, so he just looked like
no.
a bloke in the pub, and he had his little short hair. And for people who are wrestling fans, this is post when he went out on TNA live, and live. I think it was live. It's either live or pre-recorded. He went out on national TV and looked right in the camera and went to Vince Russo, "You killed Owen Hart," on national TV. And I always bring that up because I fucking love when Piper did that. There is one more Piper story that I love. In W, I don't know why this makes me laugh. In WCW, Piper just didn't care. He said what he wanted in the mic, and it was the 90s. So he's talking about Gold Dust. He doesn't call him Gold Dust. You know what he calls him? He calls him a transsexual. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. That's why I love Piper. But that's my Piper story. Just, yeah, Piper was, it looked so weird seeing out of shape Piper. And he had no knee pads. Who the fuck doesn't wear knee pads when they put on trunks?
I agree.
And he had like it was I can't describe this, but he literally had the strings of his pants or his trunks hanging out of his trunks. And you know who his opponent was?
No.
Bob Orton Jr.
Oh,
in
Jesus.
05. And if you're wondering, that's pre when Bob Orton Jr. had hepatitis and nearly gave it to the Undertaker in the Hell in a Cell match, which will always amaze me. But yeah, there's my wrestling stories out of this podcast. Probably would bring it up when we get to Jack getting battered. But how was your week?
It was alright. It was a fairly tiring week, I guess. But yeah, I mostly spent a bunch of it just like I wanna make these documentary type story type videos. So I'm working on two different things. Who knows which one will actually get done? Working on a piece about Ben Mitchell, where I'll go through the history of the character and like all of the different faces and I was gonna say punchline, but the point is more so the current Ben Mitchell actor is a fantastic actor, but he's not a very good Ben Mitchell.
Yeah, because Ben Mitchell is supposed to be a pussy, isn't he? Like he's not. Like let's be real, he is supposed to be like
he's
he's
supposed to
be this
be.
man.
He's not supposed to be like. He's supposed to want to be like Phil, but he's not like Phil.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like this hard man. He's supposed to be hard, but he's actually a bitch on the inside. Like that's
Yeah.
basically how I would sum it up. He's a man who tries to act hard, but ultimately fucks up.
Yeah,
At the end of
like
the day,
he tries too hard, and just Phil just kind of looks on like Jesus Christ, like what, why are you trying so hard? It's not worth it, is it?
yeah. Phil, yeah, that's how I look at it. And then Phil at the end always has to come in and save Ben because Ben will end up screwing things up.
Yeah.
Which will probably happen in the boxing storyline that will continue. He'll probably get his ass humiliated and he'll be like, Phil,
Yeah.
I've got nothing left.
Yeah.
I've got nothing left.
And the other video I am working on is a video discussing Suki, Eve, and Nish, like the affair type thing. And, you know, the point being that it's really entertaining because there's a level of dramatic irony to it because Eve doesn't actually know how dangerous Nish could be, but she's going at him like a little school kid, like, yeah, I'll get rid of him. Yeah, I'll punch him right in the face. It's like, yeah, but Eve, he murdered a man. But, you know, she doesn't know. So it's that, like, that irony, like, we know. Nish knows. Suki knows. Eve has no idea. So, yeah.
It's like that Kurt Angle meme when Triple H punches him. He's just sat there saluting him.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's exactly Eve in that. When Nish punches her, he's like, what the fuck? What happened here, mate? I'm not this tough guy. And then he absolutely Chris Browns her and just batters her. And you're like, oh no, can't watch this. Although they probably can't show it on a pretty watershed, can they? A man hitting a woman.
I
Like
don't know.
they would have to do, because it'd have to be like in. Remember, like in old WWE, where like if someone got hit on SmackDown
Oh
and they
yeah, it'd
showed
be
it at
like
9 o'clock
cut.
in the
Yeah,
morning, that the freeze frame it.
yeah.
That's how they'll do it on EastEnders. You see the punch, but you don't see it hitting the face,
I mean,
and then he does
actually,
it
they
again.
did show off the domestic abuse with Chantel and Gray, so
Yeah,
I think it's allowed.
but well, well, they say it,
Also,
and then the BBC are like, no.
organized a visit of one of my mates is coming over to me next month. So at some point, the podcast on the 20th will have to be delayed till the Sunday.
Yeah, that's
So
grand to me.
yeah, but yeah. Today we're gonna be reviewing all the episodes of week 16 of 2023. The episodes going from the 17th of the 4th, 2023 to the 20th. It's an explosive week, and it's all about the affair. It's coming out, and it's coming out right now. Alright, so we kickstart the week with Jack packing lunch for Ricky as he wishes him good luck for the hockey match. Amy, though, is still pretty upset and says, "I'm not going back to school." When Denise tries to talk around, but she just storms off being like, "Nah, Mill, mate." Jack and Denise talk back and forth, trying to figure out her recent behaviour, as Denise says, "Yeah, don't worry, I'll sort it out." Good luck, Denise. Good luck with that. Jesus. Denise, you are the reason.
It's like
And
that meme. Am I the problem?
yes, Denise is the problem. And Vinny asks Suki about Nish's party and whether he knows, but Nish is too excited and impatient. As Suki asks Eve what she's decided. The context is last week Suki demanded that Eve not be an informant and not put Vinny inside. You know, like don't risk putting my son inside your knobhead. But yeah. So Suki gives him a plate, which is apparently the same one his dad gave him from his village before he died, and tells a story about a cellmate smashing his plate, and that cellmate woke up with a full set of teeth, but went to bed with none of them.
And that plate's gonna get smashed. I'm telling you now, that plate's gonna get absolutely smashed.
To be fair, if you have no teeth in prison, become very popular, especially if it's an all men's prison.
Get down that shower, you big boy.
Ravi is leaving Chelsea's, and they're both loved up. He invites Chelsea to be his plus one at Nish's birthday party. She resists, but eventually agrees. Yeah, good luck, Chelsea and Ravi. Jack is chasing Eve about the information as Suki arrives and says, "I'm sorry about Friday." Then Eve demands that if Suki wants to be with her, then she has to make it happen. This being tell Nish and get away from him. Suki doesn't want it to be like this, and Eve tells her that she needs to be brave. Alright, Piggy. So online, there's a lot of people who weren't the biggest fan of Eve during this week's episode.
Why?
Well, because she's just kind of like, yeah, but just leave him. It's easy, you know. Just there'll be no issues. There'll be no complications. She's not dangerous whatsoever. Just leave.
Yeah, but that's the entire point of her character. She's delusional. She doesn't know.
Yeah, she doesn't know how risky it can possibly be.
It'd
And
be like
well,
it'd be like your son going around Crispin Wall's house and being like, "He's not dangerous at all. He's safe. He's
yeah,
not harmless."
he's a convicted murderer. But yeah, it's that annoying thing because Eve just comes across as like a little lovesick puppy. Like, yeah, but we can be together. It's like, yeah, but there's more at stake, Eve.
I understand what the people think, but in my opinion, it didn't really bother me. Like, because I'm
I
like, well, she doesn't know. She's delusional. Like, she's not delusional, but she doesn't know.
Suki hasn't told her how bad it could get.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for her to think that it'll be that harmful.
Plus, when he finally because how I'm going to assume this is that Chucky's not going to tell Evie, look, he's a dangerous bastard, you're screwed. But when he finds out, he's going to absolutely Triple H that house. He's going to kick the door in, batter Harvey, batter Stacy, batter Eve, fucking batter Jean, put Jean in the hospital, break Freddy's leg. Like, he's going to absolutely
Full
wreak
on
havoc.
rampage, yeah.
Well, he can't do anything to Lily because Lily's a minor, even
And
though she's
she's
having a
pregnant.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't bother Nish. He'd just be like, well, Holland, I
Very
guess.
true. To be fair, one thing that I've found interesting is... actually, we'll get into this later, but I suppose, judging from what we've seen this week, does Nish make it to Christmas? Because
I can see.
they've said in April, 8 months away from Christmas, that, okay, I guess it's more so, it feels like he's on borrowed time. Him and Ravi as well, it feels like they're both, like, about to be sent away.
Yeah.
I think we just found out
But,
the new bit, the new bonus video. Does Nish
but,
Panesar make it to Christmas?
But I can see it kind of being like Dirty Dan, and again, to bring him up, even though I will always get a chance to bring up Dirty Dan.
Yeah.
It might be like him where he goes away, either that's by prison or he goes back to his village, and then he comes back towards Christmas. He right now just imagine it for a minute. So he's away in his village, building sticks, building houses, being Bob the Builder, and then he comes back, because obviously he can't show sex, but he hears moaning coming from the bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and he walks in on even Suki doing it, and then he's like, "What the fuck?" Well, he can't say what the fuck. He'll go, "What the hell?" And then he finds out, and then near Christmas he batters the Slaters, and then at Christmas he I don't know, he dies,
Yeah.
or he gets his comeuppance, basically. Because two
Mm.
people could die at Christmas, we don't know.
Yeah.
Like one could have a heart attack and the other one then die by the 6 women.
True. True. It's just it's still interesting. I feel like basically, as the weeks of EastEnders were fairly boring, it's just you couldn't. It didn't really feel like anything added to the Christmas thing. But now you can start going like, is this as clear cut as it is? Is this a red herring? Yeah. Big
Um,
one.
see how I view it is they won't start having up the Christmas stuff like the seeds. Like the seeds are obviously planted right now,
Yeah.
but it won't start sprouting till like August, September, October. That's when they'll start sprouting, and in November they'll start hammering home the hints.
Yeah.
They'll hammer home hints for people like Mitch. Basically every person that's involved with the 6 women.
Yeah.
So Denise will be Ravi and Jack or Amy or whoever.
Yeah.
Then Sharon is Keanu and whatever the baby's name is. And then for
Albie.
Stacey it'll be her family.
Yeah.
And then for Kathy it'll be her family. That's it. Oh, and for Suki, of course,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
Panazals. So everyone will start getting hints. That's what I think will happen towards Christmas.
Yeah, it will obviously ramp up at the time, but I like to imagine that you don't announce it. You don't publicize it in February only to just wait and do nothing with it. Like the whole
Well,
idea is that
it's
everybody slowly starts building the case. But yeah,
yeah. Well, don't forget this is EastEnders.
yeah, they've been on a really good run of form. Like, just be glad we didn't start this in 2019, because the podcast would have been done in about 4 weeks. Because 2019 was dire.
Oh,
Anyway.
Alfie Moon is back. Oh no,
Oh, why is he such a prick?
They've massacred my boy.
Yeah.
Look what they've done to my boy.
Oh, but yeah, let's carry on with the show. I suppose the main thing is obvious. I suppose just to fully explain the point. Obviously, there's some dramatic irony because the audience knows how dangerous Nish is, but Eve doesn't, and Suki knows but doesn't want to tell her, because I feel like if Suki tells Eve how dangerous Nish is, Eve like won't stand by and like just would not let that happen. So yeah. And Denise goes to try and ask Amy what's going on, and Amy furiously tells her to leave her alone. But she's been having some tins and looks drunk. Sound.
What was she drinking?
Just some, I don't know, just some tins, some cider, some lager, whatever you get your hands on. She's only like 14, so. And Jack asks Eve for info and starts asking her all these questions. Eve has the choice to either implicate Vinny and risk a relationship with Suki, or drop the case entirely. She just says that if Jack searches the Panasar house later, he'll find exactly what he needs. But will he? Will they even get to the house? No. And then at the same house, we see Denise hand Chelsea some makeup for Nish's party. And when Ravi is mentioned, Denise is like, oh, well, yeah, just have a nice time, you dickhead. As Amy just storms by, drunk as fuck, and just storms out the door. Drunk acting's at art.
Can she act drunk, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, with what limited she'd had to do, yeah. She got it down.
Well, she's only 14. She doesn't know how to get drunk.
Well, on this, I mean, she's pretty sure she's 18. Just look young, like the actress rather.
All right, so the actress is 18. All right.
Well, yeah, because they decided to age up. They decided to age up the character a little bit so they could actually start having a bit more serious storyline. And yeah, and at the Panasars, we hear that Kirat's sentencing has been brought forward to Wednesday, and Vinny desperately wants to go see him, but Nish says no and says, we all know this day was coming. Vinny gets upset, snarkily says, yeah, happy birthday, Dad, but disobeys his order and goes to see his brother.
Oh.
Like to see Vinny actually having a backbone for once. Even though Nish thinks he's an absolute shite bag.
Everyone thinks he's an absolute shite bag. He's the one who brings down the party.
He is. And
he's that one mate at the party who's like, lads, I can play the guitar. Okay, what song can you play? Wonderwall. I'm like, mate,
chasing
just
cars
give up.
by Snow Patrol. Oh, jeez.
I can play Boulevard of Broken Dreams, mate. Just pack it up.
Mate, we're having, yeah, just not bad.
What else can you play? I can play La Bamba. Okay, that can stay.
Oh yeah, go on, mate. Messes up on the first chord.
We'll appreciate La Bamba, but we won't appreciate Wonderwall.
No.
Because today is not going to be the day. They're going to throw it back to you.
Throw it back to me. At the cafe, Bernie and Felix look at Chelsea's dress as Chelsea walks in, opens the box, and just is like, oh my god, that's so expensive. Oh. True story.
Why was she Paul Bearer?
I don't know.
Oh my dress is amazing.
She was very pleased with the dress. And at the Slaters, we see Eve is planning to stitch Nish up, but she tells Stacey to go ahead to the party. I wrote, for a lawyer, she is a terrible liar and barely gets Stacey to go. Yeah, I'm going. I'm just hold up. Yeah, but why not? Just give me 5 minutes.
I need to have a shave.
Yeah, like just say something to throw off the scent. But I mean, Stacey didn't care enough, so.
Stacey's just like free food.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we see that Denise is checking upstairs for evidence over Amy's drinking habit, and she finds 3 cans of drink. She also starts going through all her personal belongings, like checking if she's harmed, and it's like, yo, this is an invasion of privacy. And she also went through her
privacy?
Like,
I say
diary.
privacy.
Privacy. I don't know, whatever worked at the time. But yeah, it's invading her personal space. She tells you she's not doing anything. You're allowed to. You don't just go check anywhere. And yeah, Amy storms in asking what are you doing in my bedroom? And
I
Denise
got
is like,
proper
what's up?
Samuel Shaw vibes.
Yeah.
Vibes. What are you doing in my bedroom? What are you
Did
doing?
you open my mood diary?
All I remembered was the Samuel Shaw segment.
Yeah.
That has to be linked in the description because that is an absolute gem of a segment.
Yeah.
What are you doing in my bedroom? What are you doing?
The three people
Yes.
who watch 2012 TNA enjoy it.
Yeah. Or one of you.
Yeah. And Amy calls her out on being a liar and reveals that she knows about the Denise and Ravi affair. Denise tries to lie about it, but does open up a little bit. She mentions how her and Jack were in a bad place and that she felt really lonely. And this reasoning does get through to Amy, but Denise wants to know if she's going to tell Jack or not. And before Amy can comment, Jack and Ricky get back home, celebrating Ricky's hockey game. Drama. Ooh. Like I
Oh.
said, it's a cracking week for EastEnders. At Nish's party, we see Kim filming the party and saying hi to their relatives. When she tries to film Nish and Suki, she says, it's like the famous couple, Nish and Deep and Suki." And Nish goes, "Oh no, it's Sukhvinder." And Kim goes, Sukhvinder to you too." It's, for fuck's sake. It absolutely buckled me beyond belief. Like you know when you watch something by yourself, you don't really like openly laugh. You just kind of like smile or like you exhale out your nose. This had me like just buckle. Just there we are.
When I was
Kim
watching it,
nailed it.
when I was watching it live, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then she came out with it, and I was like, I can't rewind this. Did she say that correctly?
uh, and yeah, Nish is saying to Suki, meanwhile, maybe you should have been harder on Vinny whilst I was inside. Stacy, Jean, and Harvey are scoffing down food at the party as it's a free buffet, and Eve comes in, roots in Nish's pocket for a key to the house. Still trying to stitch him up.
Surely he would see that.
Well, you know, she. To be fair, she was taking her sweet time trying to look for it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
she tripped over on the way there.
Imagine she fell and her
The
clothes
only way
jackets
she
down.
could do is if she was trying to cover a fart and cough, just starts jingling the key. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry, man. What have I done?
And meanwhile, okay, yeah, and Ravi and Chelsea meet at the party, and they look good together. Say that much. And he introduces Suki and Nish to Chelsea as Vinny looks upset. Meanwhile, at the house, they're having dinner, but Amy is struggling. She says that she isn't going to tell Jack, and that she's not going to tell anyone. But it isn't very convincing, and Denise is like, "Hey, if it's hurting you this much, it's not worth keeping the secret." But they decide that since Jack is happy, she isn't going to do anything. For about 3 seconds. Nah. And at the party, we see that Nish is celebrating the good life and congratulates his 2 remaining sons. Openly accepting Ravi, which is something that Ravi's desperately wanted, and Vinny leaves upset.
Oh, poor
It's
Vinny.
poor Ravi as well. This is what he's wanted. He's wanted to be openly Nish's son, but as we'll later see, even this is a bit it's a bit disingenuous. And back at the Brannings as Jack and Denise talk about the day. They wonder where the wine is, but it seems like Amy's nabbed it. But Jack, however, says, "Whatever you've done today must have worked." But Denise looks upset because Amy's hurting because of her, you know. And at the house, Eve snoops her files on Nish. But who walks into the front door? Well, it's Suki and Vinny. Suki comforts Vinny over how Nish is treating him, and Suki tells him how like kind, how brave and strong he is. But, you know, he's just feeling awful over Kira. And then he kind of just looks at her and says, mate, if I lasted a night in jail, I'd kill myself. Hypothetically, in a video game in Minecraft. You know,
I had to know that.
he would he wouldn't handle it. But you know, Suki just kind of she comforts him like, no, you're my boy. All right, I wouldn't let that happen to you. And yeah, Eve hears this all go down and goes, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't stitch up Nish and Vinny. Maybe it's not a good idea to take away the person I love's son, who's the only one she has left. You know? So about time, really. And Denise realizes that Amy's been drinking again and she feels horrible. Like I said, Amy does some good drunk acting and she's just laying in the bed and just sluggishly moves around like, And we continue this as Eve hands Suki all the evidence she has on Nish, but says if you take these papers, we're done, because she cannot stay and see Suki get destroyed. She knows that if she turned Nish in, Suki would hate her because it would threaten to take Vinny away too. And Eve, like, she vows to protect herself, and like teary-eyed, Suki grabs the documents, and it's just quite a sad scene. But back at Jack's, do you have anything to add to it, or?
No, it's just pretty sad.
Oh, it's just racing on, like a cheat. But yeah, in the final scenes of the episode, Jack's back at Jack's house. He's angry because obviously Eve didn't call in the squad to search the Panasar's house, and Denise walks in and tells Jack that Amy's been drinking again. Jack says, I don't know how much more of this I can take, and Denise says no, and that it's her that needs to do the talking because Amy is drinking again, because she found something out about me. The best fucking affair ever I know. Me!
I can't wait till getting to episode 2.
Yeah.
I loved. I think this, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just Jack and Denise's affair. You know, it's not going to get brutal. Obviously, in episode 2, we see the fact that Jack absolutely gets bitched out, but you're like, oh, well, this is gonna involve a lot of screaming, and then with Suki and Nish, it's gonna be like, oh no, hide your wives, hide your kids, hide your dad. He's coming. And you're like, oh no.
And we continue with episode 2, following the ending line of the last episode. Denise says that Amy is hurting because she knows something about Denise, and Denise opens up and says she kissed someone, and Jack demands to know who it was, as Denise says, Ravi, who is making out with Chelsea until Nish comes along and talks with them. They banter back and forth, and I wrote, why does it feel like Nish is going to do a dirty den and try sleep with Chelsea despite Ravi? Anyone else catch these vibes? There was a bit of flirting going on.
Yeah.
It feels like it's in Nish's character to be like, well, at least she finally had a real woman, and then Ravi like smacked him or whatever, you know, or a real man. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe anybody else notice that? Comment it down below. And Jack starts shouting, asking why everyone knows except for him. He starts trying to figure out why this happened. He says, it's the kid's fault, or, oh, it's my fault for, like, taking care of my kids. But Denise cries because she tells him how lonely she felt. And Jack calls her unbelievable because she felt pushed out because he was taking care of his kids. He pieced it together that maybe Rafi wanted information on his case. And she feels upset because he's like, oh, it's not like he could be attracted to me or anything. But he shouts because he could have been siphoning information the entire time. Oh, so shouty, but it's raw. It's raw emotion. I Yeah, you're like, Jack, please stop shouting, please.
Yeah, because it might be different for you because you didn't have an abusive parent.
True.
But whenever I just hear him shouting, I'm just reminded of, no. Do you remember that? Is it the start? I think it's the start. The sound down with the sickness.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember the bit in the song where it goes, "No, mommy, don't do it again. I'll be a good boy."
Oh, Jesus.
That's just me. Just whenever Jack's crying, like, "No, Jack, please.
Oh,
I'll be a
God.
good boy, Jack. Please,
Please,
Jack."
just don't yell at me. You
Because
know
I feel
what?
like whenever he yells, like he does a very good yell. I'm
Mm.
like, "Oh no, please, Jack, please, I'll be very good."
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And yeah, Jack gets upset when he realizes that Ravi's been blackmailing Denise. And at Peggy's, we see Stacy taking food. Mitch walks in with a key for Vinny. Mitch is invited for a drink by Suki, but Nish is like, nah, you can just go home. But Suki convinces him to stay. And he then gives her a stern word like, I know why you're upset, Kirat sentencing, but for now, you smile, you laugh, and you entertain our guest.
Jesus, you
Yeah,
narcissistic prick.
yeah, very abusive. It's like if anybody watched the Jeff and Yasmin storyline Coronation Street, there's this scene where they do this magic trick, but she slightly messes it up, and but it works, and the crowd all like cheer. And this was like a coercive control where through time he slowly degraded her and just kind of molded her to how he wanted her to be. And he does finish this magic trick, and they're all applause and they're all smiling, but he just says to her like, "Wow, you messed it up again. You're right, bitch," or something like that, and it's just like, oh God, so no, Yasmin isn't gonna. She's It was a good storyline, but it was one that got plagued by the pandemic because it slowly just happened to be went on for like a good 2 years. Because obviously during the
Mm.
pandemic they had to slow down the episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it gave me Jeff flashbacks for a second. And yeah, Jack wants to batter Ravi as Denise wants to contextualize the affair. Jack just shouts at her, and he just screams at her like, "Yeah, I was upset. I didn't go bunk up with someone else." But Ricky and Amy just go sit on the stairs, absolutely mortified, like, "Oh God, why is it happening?"
This is your fault, Amy. And Amy's like, leave me alone. That's the one thing I didn't like about this week's episode. I understand they had to bring up mental health. But, I just didn't like the fact that everyone was like, fuck you, Amy, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's really, really harsh on Amy.
You do realize this woman is a teenager who's battling depression and anxiety, and you're all just bullying her.
Yeah, she's so clearly struggling, but everybody's like, "Wow, why do you do that, you little bitch?" It's like, it's not her fault. I'm sorry she told people. It wasn't even her, it was Denise who told her. Yeah. We'll get into it a bit later. And Jack recalls a night where Denise genuinely made him feel guilty in order to go see Ravi, just storms out, leaving Denise upset and crying, only to look up the stairs and sees the disappointed face of her stepchildren. Oh, yeah. Can, can, can hack that. That's just rough.
Mhm.
You're facing the kids of their lives you potentially just ruined. Oh,
I'm sorry, kids, that I slept with another man, but his cock tasted great, so I couldn't say no.
well, she didn't sleep with him.
Oh, yeah, well, she did taste his mouth, so.
She did. They had some very, very passionate kiss.
She was
And
kissing him, going, "Oh, you smell like Doritos."
Jack storms over to the party with tears in his eyes and wants to grab Ravi, who's taking family pictures. He starts pushing Ravi about and makes a public scene. He, in front of everyone, tells people that Ravi seduced his wife and blackmailed her, as Chelsea sees this going on. But Nish publicly defends Ravi in front of him and denounces Jack's allegations. However, Chelsea isn't buying it and storms out. Oh, this was a good scene as well, because you have Nish who, he's not going to fight anyone. Well, in front of everyone, So, and he is a narcissist, so you could tell he's like, I didn't do it for you. I did this to save our family, like, as we'll get to see later. Just shockwaves. And Amy then storms off furious because they'd agreed they wouldn't tell anyone. And Ricky is disgusted, saying, "I told my mum to leave because you said you'd always be our mum." And then Kim storms in, and Denise is like, "Why the fuck did you tell people?" And Kim's like, "It wasn't me." But Denise is just fuming. Oh,
Exactly.
And Ravi tries to calm Nugget down, as Nugget lets it slip that he knew about the affair. Nugget shouts at his dad and says he's ruined everything, as Jack eyes him down like an animal stalking his prey. Ravi unbuttons his suit jacket and starts taunting Jack, trying to get him to hit him. He brings up how he didn't harass Denise into kissing him, and definitely didn't harass her into getting into bed with him. And he has a picture of her naked body saved right up in his memory. Jack swings for him, but very quickly Ravi evens the odds and batters him until Denise gets in the way. But Jack just looks furious at her and storms out. And by batter him, we mean batter him. Like, Jack went for a swing, Ravi pushed him against the face and just started pounding the shit out of his neck.
It's the way, well, because Jack's been built up as this guy, this hard man. He's basically been Ben Mitchell, where he's this hard guy who's so tough, and he absolutely gets bitched out by Ravi. I understand people would say, well, he was also bitched out by Phil Mitchell when Jack was sleeping with Sharon,
I
or
mean, to be
when
fair,
Phil
this was
thought Jack was
years
sleeping with
ago.
Sharon. Yeah, 2019, but. It was absolutely funny just to see Jack swing, miss, and then just get absolutely clocked in the neck.
Like, they've realised that Jack ain't the youngest boy in the room anymore. And you fight an actual muscly guy who takes care of himself. You're getting battered.
Do you know who needed to make a return for this scene?
Who?
Max.
Honestly, I'd welcome him back. I'd welcome back with a new writers.
Or do you know who we don't bring in Grant Mitchell? We bring in Ross Kent, because don't forget he took down men with guns by simply talking to them. So bring in Ross Kent and he'll sort it out.
Agreed. But yeah, fun scene, big confrontation. And mate, I was loving it completely. Like, I genuinely, I had adrenaline pump. I'm like, yeah, it's happening. The affair's exploding. It's happening. It's what they've been building for the last 2 months. It's finally paid off. And I was just, this is like classic soap shit. Like, these are the moments that people watch soaps for. You watch the build, you get bored, and then it fucking blows up everywhere, and you're like, man, these fireworks are great.
I was just thinking of Cody Rhodes' theme, like when he started swinging at him, adrenaline in my soul, every thought of out of control.
But yeah,
Get the
we
moment.
usually.
Or what?
I was just gonna say, we usually don't. We occasionally tell you to watch the scenes, but definitely watch the build up and the fight because it's incredible stuff. Or just this entire week of EastEnders. It's a great week. Ravi barges into Chelsea's house as he wants to explain, and she says, "Wow, this will be interesting." As Amy and Denzel talk, as Nugget walks in, blames Amy for everything, and Nugget is worried that he's gonna have to leave Walford, as this just started to feel like his home. Pretty tragic. And Ravi tries to talk to Chelsea about like what happened. But Chelsea is furious because he blackmailed her mum and he started using her just to spite Denise. He tries to say how he's never felt like this for any woman before and he begs her for another chance. But, Chelsea's like, yeah, but after Grey, I wasn't just going to like, I wanted to make sure it was the right thing before I got involved. And she tells him how he's ruined everything and that he needs to go. Equally, a pretty good scene until you remember, it's been a month. They've been together a month. Max. Like, it's not like they've been together for 9 months. It's not like they've been together for 3 years. They've been together for a month and she's acting like she's been, betrayed. Like, I get it, just as she's, settling down, her feet are, comfy under the table. It's been a month!
Also, bringing up Grey again in 2023 is just like, oh my god, guys, get over it.
Well, no, Chelsea can bring up Grey. Just anybody else, probably not. She was,
Is Grey coming?
no, Grey's in prison.
Oh, he
But,
might come back though.
But, she was abused by him. And, she can mention Grey because, that she went through that experience. That's her trauma. But also, I wasn't going to do anything. Also, a month later, I love you. Come on.
Will you marry me?
And that's what a lot of people say. I get it. After all the trauma she's been through, it would make sense that she's not going to be super. She's not going to jump into anything, but she did. So, And at the Brannings, Denise tells Kim to leave, as Kim insists it wasn't her who told Jack about the affair, or told Amy about the affair, I guess. And Denise tries to talk to Jack, who's holding a bag of peas. Jack asks if it was true that Denise went to bed with him. Denise says, I love you, and that she thinks they can get through it as long as they keep talking. But Jack says they can't get through this because every time he looks at her, he sees her and Ravi together. And Denise sobs. Ravi arrives at the Panasar's house and asks if Devinder is there. They say it's best if Nugget stays here for a while. Nish ushers him in. Ravi apologizes for ruining his party, and Nish weakly, basically, you've messed up, and Dad's angry. I'm sorry. It's fine. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. And Ravi thanks him for standing up to Jack, and he does believe that Nish is defending him because he's his son. But then Nish just goes, mate, I did it because it was in public. And Nish slaps him right in the face as the plate breaks. He says Ravi has shamed the family and looks at Suki to continue the onslaught, and they tell Ravi to leave. Nish finishes his drink and says to Suki, at least I can always depend on you. Oh,
Imagine that was the Duff.
mate, it would be incredible. But it's why Nish is such an interesting character. But he's such a knobhead. He's such an insufferable, narcissistic prick. But he's also really entertaining to see. And Ravi, he's had what he's wanted. Daddy's finally accepted me. Oh wait. Oh fuck. No, he has. Never mind. Just all of the Panasars except for Vinny have been built up with all these layers that make them so much fun to watch. That's why I think it's a shame that I don't see Ravi or I don't think Ravi or Nish are long-term characters. I could kind of see Ravi maybe sticking about, but he's also causing a lot of problems for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, bloody hell. And Jack is nursing his feelings with a bottle of whiskey, as Denise says she's going to stay with Kim for a while. She'll collect Raymond in the morning, and they hope that they can sort things out. Jack cries as she leaves, leaving Amy crying on the stairs. As Denise cries as well, and she sees a despondent Ravi across the street and wants Jack to shut the blinds on her. Perhaps symbolically shutting the doors on their relationship? As we get a bird's eye shot as we see Denise, Denise's want to not feel alone has left her more alone than ever, as she is the only one seen on the square. Oh, fuck, what an episode.
I agree, it was a great episode.
Such a good episode. Like I said, it's the... And episode 3 commences as Jack is struggling. He is ignoring Denise as Amy wants him to talk to her. Ricky shows up and asks if they'll get back together. Amy believes that they're going to, but Ricky thinks they're done. And Jack just yells at Ricky because he just can't be fucked. Are you guys getting back together? I don't fucking know, mate. It's only been a day, you idiot. Bloody hell. So it's some fun stuff. Suki pleads with Kira. She desperately wants to be there when he gets sentenced. But Nish talks about how he wants to do it alone, and it's the best way to survive inside. Nish mentions when Suki stopped their visits, it somehow made him stronger. He then wants her to go to the shop and dispel all of the rumors. God, imagine being told that you're not allowed to see your son's sentencing as he's taking the flak with what you believe is your murder. Pretty complex scenario to imagine, I'll be honest. There's a lot of moving parts with that one. And Amy finishes a call with someone as her and Jack are going off to the cafe. Seems like she's going to try get Jack and Denise to talk. And Phil and Ben are talking in the cafe about his boxing. Phil is like, imagine if you'd listened to me for the last 30 years. As Ben's like, yeah, it's been good. As Phil wants to help Tommy get his confidence back as well, but the gym isn't very family friendly, and Ben just angles for the main event against a mystery opponent as Phil looks proud. As said earlier, I really dislike this storyline, so that video will be coming out at some point in the near future. Why this current Ben Mitchell is a great actor, but not the best Ben Mitchell. And Kim is talking with Patrick and reminiscing over Vince, her ex-husband who died. It's been 5 years to the day. Kim wants Denise to fight for what she has with Jack, just like Kim's going to keep fighting for Howie. Howie, who's still Mardy with her like a week on, and is still living in her house, just giving her daggers. Like, are you taking a piss?
I love that.
That's the power play right there. Like, what? Like, come on, just talk about it, you idiot. You're living in her house. And Nugget arrives and wants to hang out with Denzel, and he is upset with Denise because it's now likely that Ravi's going to have to leave town. Denzel wants to check on Amy, but Nugget isn't really too pleased. Howie walks on in and is upset, like we said, giving her daggers, but Kim can finally tell him that it was Denise's fault she crashed the car, and he cannot believe this and storms out anyways, handing her court documents. I think this is for a trial hearing or something. I didn't fully know it though, so you know.
Yeah,
And
I don't know either.
Suki is desperately trying to glue the plate back together, but is so upset she yanks the drawer out, only to find something taped to the back of it. A USB drive, the same USB drive that has the footage of Ranveer's death. But also Ravi edited it to not have his involvement involved there. Sneaky little rat. At Stacy's Baps, we see a hungover Mitch, and Eve gets told that Kira got life in prison and wants to go check on Suki. Stacy tells her it's a bad idea and that her family ought to help her. Oh no, I need to go be with her. Stacy's like, fuck's sake, not again, god damn it, just please, just stop it. Wait like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was taking a drink of water. And at the cafe, Jack and Amy are struggling as they're the talk of the square. Bernie says she never trusted bloke who likes wangy toast and that they're on Jack's side. Jack sees Denise, like, walk on in, yells at her, and storms out. But Amy is like, she's really struggling with all this. But no one's paying attention to her. What does wangy toast mean?
I don't know.
I'd imagine, I don't know, I got no idea. Tell us in the comments down below. And Phil tries to pitch Ben's idea to Sharon as Phil offers a 500 quid prize pool and gets, not Keanu, Harvey and Mitch to sign up. Keanu then shows up, grunts, and is told there'll be no boxing for you, as Sharon offers Zach a fight against Ben for 500 quid. Zach says he isn't doing it, and he isn't having any of it. Martin questions why he wouldn't take the chance to batter Ben Mitchell. Like I said, it's the easiest 500 quid of his life. I could beat up Ben Mitchell. I don't even fight people.
I wouldn't fight Ben Mitchell. I'd just shag him.
Martin is confused by this. Eve visits Suki with the news that Kirat got life, which she didn't realise. Suki didn't know. Suki cries into Eve's arms, and Suki says everything's falling apart as she found the USB, which contains the footage of Suki's killing blow on Ranveer, killing blow in quotation. She still doesn't know that it was Rafi who finished him off.
Oh, kinky.
Yeah, pretty rough scene, because it feels like the last time Kirat's gonna get a mention, and probably for a long time. The actor suddenly left, and now he's got life in prison, so I guess we're never seeing him again. Which still adds to my theory that the Panasars, other than Suki, ain't lasting. Which is a bit of a shame, but you know what, fair enough. And Amy talks with Denise and is upset. Amy pleads with her to not split up with Jack as Denise takes full responsibility. She mentions Valentine's night, then Amy starts to believe that it was her fault and cries, calling herself stupid. And yeah, Mitch, Harvey, and Rocky are talking about the fight as Martin walks in and says he's signed up. They talk about Zach fighting as Martin walks over, trying to get him to fight. He agrees to fight Ben, but Martin knows that something's a bit dodgy about this. As Suki reels over finding the USB, knowing that Ravi hid this from her, or Nish or Ravi hid this from her, Eve tries to convince her that Nish is the reason that the USB is there, but Nish walks in and asks what's wrong, and he's shocked to hear that Kirat got life. Nish says he'll tidy this up and tells Suki to go for a coffee with him. But in McClunky's, Amy's panicking as, nearly having a panic attack, as Denzel, sits her down and tries to actually get to regulate her breathing. Tries to get to calm down a little bit. But Nugget makes things worse. And he says if he would have known how much it would have upset her, he wouldn't have told her. Amy reacts negatively to this. Be like, oh, stupid mental Amy, don't tell her anything or she'll have a breakdown.
Jesus Christ.
It's really harsh. Really hard to see Amy deal with this. And the actress did a fantastic job, by the way. So, credit. And in the Vic, as I wrote Roland, as Bernie, Sonia, and Reese are having a pub lunch, as Denise and Kim are being stared at. Chelsea walks on in and yells at Denise for not letting her know how bad Ravi was. She feels betrayed by her mum, and Chelsea tells her to stay out of her life. And Amy's panicking in the middle of the square and wants to come around to Chelsea's. She says she didn't mean for this to happen, and when Chelsea finds out Amy knew, she shuns her completely. She's like,
Also,
fuck you, you prick.
Also, we forgot to mention our boy appears.
Yeah, Reese was there. He said, wow, it's always this exciting. Something like that. But yeah, the more importantly,
Thank you, Reese.
Chelsea, what the fuck? Your family versus the hookup you've had for 1 month. She's clearly struggling about this. She clearly feels bad. But yeah, let's just shout at Amy, who looks like she's about to have a panic attack. Good. Good on you. You fucking dick. And Suki and Eve believe that Nish is controlling her with a USB stick, And they want to destroy the USB, but Suki realizes that she might be able to get Kira free if they see the footage. And Eve keeps talking about us, but Suki's made up her mind. Keanu is skint and can't pay for Sharon, but she doesn't mind. She also informs Zach that since he's competing, he needs to take a blood test. Ooh. If it was in 5 months, would be fine. Right now, not a good idea. Suki returns back to the house, but the drawer hasn't been put back together. She looks for the USB drive, but Nish comes in and has retrieved it. And in Amy's room, she is having a panic attack and phones someone saying she doesn't know what to do anymore, and that she's really, really scared. She clings onto a bracelet to try distract herself and starts smashing up her room. She throws a box into a mirror and looks down at the shards. Just how bad is this going to get? And the final episode of the week commences as Lily is banging on the door, worried that Amy's done something stupid. Jack bursts upstairs and asks her if she's hurt herself. She recalls when he goes to check her arms. Jack apologizes. And Suki and Nish argue about the USB. Suki believes that Nish made a copy of the footage and he laughs at this accusation because he can barely use the tilt at the minute mark. This line of genuine honesty buckled me. Like, I thought he would have been like, oh, well, I could do it, but nah, no idea. And yeah, Nish reveals that it was Ravi who did it, and Nish knew that if he showed this drive to anyone, Kirat would have been free, Suki would have been in jail. She says he always wants to control her, but he simply says it's love, and he believes that she would have done the same for him. But Eve is drinking whiskey shots as Stacy gets back, moaning at Eve for not helping, and Eve finally says her and Suki are finished. As Zach is at Whitney's and he wants to talk about the blood tests, he's worried about what people would think if they knew he was HIV positive. And Zach says he doesn't want anything to change, but Whitney tells him to tell Martin and Sharon. And Suki demands that Nish gives her the USB as she wants to get Kira out of prison. He yells at her to not, and then she says she needs to get some sleep, or he says she needs to get some sleep as she isn't thinking straight. She feels guilty because she has Ranvir's blood on her hands. He tries to convince her that it's a terrible idea to put herself at risk, but she says, if you care about me, you'll let me do this. Nish doesn't want this to happen, and she says it's over, and he says that she's going to regret this as he begrudgingly hands her the memory stick. So she heads off to the cop shop. And Jack asks Amy if she's feeling any better, but she's nearly unresponsive. She mentions how she broke a locket, says how she misses her mum. Jack wants her to open up. She says she tries, but she can't. And Jack wants to take her mind off of it. But she doesn't budge and just struggles by herself in her room. And a big scene as well, as at Sharon, Zach opens up saying he isn't going to fight. And says that, and, Martin jokes that he bottled it because he didn't do the blood test. And he finally says that he is HIV positive. He freaks out, but Sharon hugs him and comforts him as Martin looks stunned. Finally, Zach actually told them.
Finally, indeed. I thought that was going to be the buffed off.
No, yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised. But it was like, he's finally opened up about it. It's about time. And seemingly in, I think next week, he's also going to publicly say it. And some people aren't gonna react too kindly.
We don't take too kindly around these parts of you folk.
Some people are probably gonna start spreading some misinformation about HIV in the modern day. And Jack rings someone saying he needs their help. I was initially like, who's this mystery caller? And then in a couple of minutes you see Denise and you're like, oh, okay, fair enough. And Suki is preparing to go straight to the police station, but Eve tries to convince her otherwise. Suki is sad that Kirat's life is over, but what about her? Eve says she respects her decision, and Vinny runs over and hugs his mum. Vinny asks her where she's going, but she says she won't be long. If she had left, Vinny would be absolutely ruined. Yeah, I'll come back in 5. Well, Suki went back to hand herself into the police, never came back. It's just... Poor guy. And Zach feels a bit more confident, and like as Martin and Sharon are really open and comforting, and they piece everything together that in a couple months his HIV won't be traceable. They're both sad that he didn't open up earlier. Martin kinda struggles with it and zones out, as it clearly brought back like all of the memories as his brother Mark Fowler died of HIV. And Stacy tries to console Eve over Suki going to the police, as Eve's trying to imagine her life without her, and it's not really working too well. As Jack has ended up calling Denise, as they're really worried about Amy. Amy apologizes and is worried that everyone's mad at her, and Jack says he'll get better so she can actually talk to him. Amy mentions how she just couldn't stop the intrusive thoughts, but Jack asks, why do you reckon you get these thoughts that make you do things that you don't want to do? And kind of jokes about him, trying to go batter Ravi, but then getting absolutely bodied. Amy believes that they would still be together if it weren't for her, and her and Jack hugs, and perhaps we move forward a little bit, and hopefully Amy starts to feel a little bit better. And Suki arrives back from the police station and is furious because Nish wiped the memory stick. They all believe she was lying to get Kirat off, and Nish tells her even though he loves his son, he would always choose her. And then proceeds to say, we need to look towards the future, and follows it by saying, we'll never be apart again. Really ominous. But also, classic Nish. Yeah, you can go to the police station, that's fine. You'll regret it. Ah, lol, I wiped the memory stick, there's nothing on there. There's actually 2 pictures of a little cat. It's really good. Nish is an absolute knobhead, but is also tremendous.
It's you're wrong. It's actually just pictures of him shagging Suki while looking into the camera. Yeah, I'm fucking hard, mate. Look at me.
Oh, mate, I recorded this so I can look at one thing. Me! And starts flexing in the camera.
It's like that Patrick Bateman scene from American Psycho where he's shagging the one. He's just like, oh, look, I'm shagging the best person I know. Me.
If only I could have another person who looked exactly like me.
I am shagging the second best person I know. My wife. Who's not shagging anyone else, by the way? She's not shagging anyone else.
Yeah,
because who's there? Why would she do that? Oh, I've been drinking a lot of Lucasade.
And, Denise, Amy, and Jack are in front of the sofa as Ricky arrives and wonders if she's back for good, but Jack just agrees that she can stay for dinner. As Martin and Zach are sharing beers and talk about Mark and his HIV, how they used to struggle with other people when Mark had dealt with it way back when. Martin says she wasn't always there for Mark. He'll always be there for Zach. And they all, toast to Zach and ask him to never shut them out again. Oh, bloody wholesome. Gotta have some wholesome for all the explosive affair talk. Otherwise, it just gets depressing. And Denise and Jack debrief after the day they've had. He thanks her for coming around and says he doesn't know what he would have done if she hadn't been there, as Denise offers to do this together. Denise says they're family and she loves them and misses them, but Jack says he just doesn't think he can get past it, and he can't let anything get in the way of Ricky and Amy. And in the final scenes, Eve is lazing on the sofa as Suki arrives and explains what happened with the USB. Suki says when she entered the station, there was one scary thought in her head, and that was losing Eve. She says Kirat sacrificed himself to live a life where she is loved and being loved. She says she is scared, but is more scared of the world where she lives without her. Suki asks what happens next, and that they need to bide their time. And Suki says she's changed and to believe that she loves her. They kiss, and Suki says that they are going to get rid of Nish. For good. Duff duff. Holy fucking shit. Alright, and that was episode number 16 of Watching Walford. One fucking huge, amazing, explosive week of EastEnders. I would say it's probably the best week of EastEnders we've had all year.
Probably. Except for the fact that Amy was just being bullied throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, it was still good. It just didn't feel good, you know? But it also means that we actually kind of care about Amy now. Don't you think?
Until she's gone about 2 weeks.
It's true. But, it means they've actually done a good job with her character. But, yeah, holy shit. I think... Because I was trying to think, it feels like the best weeks of EastEnders either has to be week 1, because it's obviously the, post-New Year, the first week of the New Year, where it's still explosive, but I don't even think it was that interesting. And then I think of the 24th anniversary, not the 24th, the 38th anniversary week, which it was just one good episode. Was the main issue. The Monday episode was absolutely banging and showed us the flash forward, but the rest of the days were just a bit wank. So yeah, fundamentally, best week of EastEnders so far this year. And I hope they enter a good run of form where everything is explosive and we're just constantly building to cool moments. Yeah, man. Anything else to say about this week?
No.
Yeah, I don't really think so. So I suppose let's do the awards. The awards of Watching Walford are the Slapping Down Award, the Steve Blackman Award, which is the most wooden character, and the Underrated Character Award. Which one do we go for? Let's go underrated character. Who do you reckon was really good in the very little they had this week?
Amy.
Yeah? No, fair enough. I can't argue with that. I would go with Amy as well. Like I said, they did age the character up, so she seems older than she is, but the actress has done a great job at dealing with the mental health issues that she struggled with. And it was really hard to see Amy just getting bodied every single time. And she was just trying to do what was right, She didn't want to tell everyone, but Denise did it anyways. I suppose if I'll say that, I'll also say I'll just give it to Denzel, who has proven himself to actually be reasonable. He actually cares for Amy. He tried to talk her through a panic attack at some point. He genuinely gives a shit, and is actually being reasonable when Kim and Howie are just Howie's "Well, fucking dare you?" It's come on, he's not dead, is he? It's fine. Yeah. Steve Blackman, who's the most wooden this week?
Oh Jesus. Jack.
Yeah. After those punches to the neck, that's got to be stiff. Whew. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't personally go for Jack. I think he did a good job at emoting. I would just say Keanu again. He didn't get it last week, but he's gonna get it again because all he did was, hey, Mummy Sharon, can I do some boxing? No, your pretty face can't be boxed. And, I'm a bit skinned. I can't pay for drinks. Fucking shit, just shit, mate. It is like it's like mum and son. That's how ridiculous their relationship is.
Well,
And
of course he gets domed.
and who needs slapping down?
Um, who needs slapping down this week? That's a hard one.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who could do with one.
Ravi.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Chelsea for mine. Yelled at Amy as she didn't want to cause any trouble, but did, and then she goes, "Yeah, well, why are you such a little bitch?" It's like you were together a month, you fucking loser. Grow up. And what? And you say Ravi? Yeah, Ravi does. He has been getting a little too big for his boots, but he did get slapped down by Nish, so like a proper slap. Yeah. Anything else?
Nothing else.
No. All right. Well, I have been Ash from Watching Walford, and I've been joined by Piggy.
I have been Piggy from Figures Tie Company.
And yeah, thank you for watching this week of Watching Walford. Do all the call to action, subscribe, comment, share the video, etc. We're also on Spotify and some other podcasting platforms at Watching Walford. Rate this things 5 stars or whatever you do on there. And just what did you think of this week of EastEnders? I thought it was really fucking good, and I hope it's ramping up for a really exciting year. There has been a couple of stinkers of weeks over the last little bit. It's been building for a while, but it's just a reminder that good things come to those who wait. And this week, EastEnders was absolutely hot as shit. So yeah, we've been watching Walford. Make sure to go ahead and watch all the other content on the channel. And like I said, go ahead and watch the soap study YouTube channel and the Talking Walford, as they are like-minded individuals and have some cool shit to say about. So, thank you for watching and join us next week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.